Good morning and welcome to Monday's Market Outlook here at Top Gun Options. My name is Matthew Buckley. My call sign is Wiz, Chief Option Strategist here at TGO, and just sent out a bull put spread to our weekly options members. Everybody should have gotten it via text and or email. The 1635, 16.2.5. We had another Amazon trade. If you held it until Friday, expire for a max profit of over $2,000. This one sent it out at about 75 or 77 cents. It's down here at 60. Not going to chase it, and we'll cover this in our, well, now it's at 70, in our weekly options brief. Risking, oops, let me get back here. 30 contracts. 30 contracts. Well, let me actually put in what the text said. We're up here at about 75 cents, 77 cents when I sent it out. So that's risking about $5,200 to potentially make $2,300 with a 67% probability using at the money vol and Amazon options of this max profit, and a 71% probability of at least breaking even on this trade this week. So really good looking trade, like I said, we'll talk about at 1 o'clock in our live trade brief. A little bit of a Monday morning rip your face off rally. As we know, these rallies tend to fade after all the traders in Chicago and New York go out and have their tin sandwiches and come back a little hungover at 1 or 2 o'clock. So just keep an eye on that. But you couldn't, let me get tactical real quick. You couldn't ask for better jobs numbers last week. I said we were going to hit 200,000 plus or minus, 10, 20-ish, and we did. We hit 223, which is fine. That's not necessarily why the market rally. Then obviously the previous month was revised down, so it was kind of buried in the news. But this is, this ticked down even more, 3.8%. As my TGO members know, legally, technically, biblically, whatever you want to say, the Federal Reserve says we are at full employment. This can never be a zero. Well, yes, it can, Wiz, with full employment. Nope, it's physically impossible. Shockingly, there are people out there in the United States that would rather take government handouts than go get a job, or they'd rather sit in their parents' basement and eat Cheetos. So this will never be a zero, and this is the lowest it's been. I can't remember since 2000, since I was on active duty in the Navy. That's how good these jobs numbers are. But as my members know, this was the number I really cared about, which is average hourly earnings. Yeah, we're making more jobs. Are people making more money? This is why the market really rallied on Friday. But there's a tale of caution in all this good news. Does this mean inflation's ticking up? And if it does that mean Jerome Powell, our Fed chief, can start dialing up the oven and raising interest rates? We're going to cover all this this week. Let's go strategic, folks. Let's get our head out of the trenches. This is a big deal. There's potential summit between Trump and Putin. Now, unless you're a tinfoil hat wearing idiot on the exit ramp of I-95, there's no collusion. The only collusion in the past election was actually between the Democrats and the Russians, and obviously with the Department of Justice Inspector General's report about to drop, it's going to get ugly. And we're going to see all the roaches in the kitchen. Love or hate this guy, thank God he was elected, because it really showed us the absolute rotten to the core morals and values of our deep state and some of our supposedly justice or FBI departments. Just absolutely disgusting. I saw a news story last night that about 30 agents now are dying to be subpoenaed by Congress so they can come tell the truth. I don't know what type of country you live in. It sounds like this guy's country, where agents are begging to be brought in to tell the truth. I thought they always did that. Anyway, this is on track. The president heading to Singapore. He said he's going on September 12th, no matter what. And Kim last night or yesterday clipped a couple of his top generals. I think these generals were, well, they were obviously like him. They were warmongers. We can't denuclearize. Let's kill Trump. Well, now I think he clipped these three dudes. I don't think he killed them, fed them to dogs, or fired anti-aircraft artillery at them and destroyed them. I think it's a signal to the president that he's serious. And again, looking on social media or the liberal news networks, you can't see any credit at all to the president for at least getting this guy to the negotiating table, which just is ridiculous. So with the Dow rallying nearly 200 points right now, what's going on here? So look at some of the headlines. Trade tensions intensify as allies rebuke the U.S., testing Trump ahead of the G7. We saw the Queen of Canada last week, Prime Minister Trudeau, do his limp-wristed slap back at the president. We're still waiting for the Eurozone to fire their broadside, and we really haven't seen China yet. So last week, when this happened, and we had this significant pullback, the EU said it was going to release a statement within hours. and it's 4 or 3 trading days later, and we haven't heard a word from them. So this rally's looking a little solid, so I might be changing my strategic mindset from neutral / cautiously bearish to cautiously bullish. But remember, folks, when I said when, not if China responds, it's going to be with a big broadside, and it's going to leave a mark. We've covered Iran a lot. It's kind of a sleeper story. It takes 3 to 6 months for these sanctions to kick in. Actually, let me say 2 to 5 months, because it's been about a month since the president pulled out of that deal. So keep an eye on that. Banks sharply raise oil price forecasts on geopolitical risks. We talked about this last week. I said it might be time to get back in and get long some energy. So we'll talk about this tomorrow in our primary live trade brief. So energy had a sharp pullback, and now this thing's getting ready to head higher. So make sure you're in the PLTB, the primary live trade brief tomorrow. Because I think before the June 22nd OPEC meeting, I think Russia's going to poke all the other countries and tell them to pack sand. But Brazil looks like it's turning around. The strike is over, and I think trucks are moving, and they're trying to get out of the hole that they dug themselves into, and hopefully they did. So as we can see, this isn't. Somebody asked last week, is this a short squeeze? That ain't a short squeeze, man. This is, no kidding, buying and people trying to pick this thing up. This is not a short squeeze, so it might be time to get long the EWZ. So, good morning. U.S. stocks rise, led by industrial and material companies. I wouldn't call CSX as a transport, but CSX is a transport. Really great looking trade. This was a Gordon Gekko trade out of us. We got into it right there. This is when their old CEO passed away without a succession plan in place, so of course the stock's going to implode. But since we've gotten into this trade, the stock itself is up. CSX, not our long call diagonal, is up nearly triple that, and we've been doing some trading nice spreads since then. We had a full throttle when people got on board around here, and since they got on board around there, and CSX is up 18%. So this is the gift that keeps on giving. Definitely like CSX. The hits keep coming for the roaches in the kitchen on Facebook. The New York Times had a huge story yesterday, and it seems like Mr. Zuckerberg's testimony that he gave to Congress is absolutely at odds with what the New York Times has found out. I told you, folks, there are a ton of roaches in this kitchen, and they're going to come home to roost. It is not a good sign. Facebook's down a full % today, and I'm telling you, man, I predicted this, and it's going to happen. So I'd be looking at getting bearish. Visa had an outage in Europe over the weekend, and they seem to be back to normal. But after I saw a headline, what was it, Friday, late Friday, whenever it was, I saw that headline flash across my phone. I'm like, crap. But look, Visa's up over 1.5%. Another great trade that we passed here, or we put out here, TGO, right around. Where's the fall? Right around here, right around the October-November time frame. So since we've been in that trade, the stock itself is up 21%, and obviously our long call diagonal's up nearly quadruple that, along with the spreads we're doing. So really good looking Monday, but again, it's only Monday. I mean, hell, by Friday, all sorts of things can happen with tweets or North Korea or the trade. I'm telling you, the sleeping story, we have some long volatility calls on, got long the VIX just because I said, hey man, something can happen in the next couple weeks to freak the market the hell out. And when that happens, as we saw last week, the VIX was up nearly 30% that one day. And as it started to sell off, I said, nope, let's get back into some long calls. You want to be counter-cyclical to volatility, man. So when it spikes, get short it, and when vol's cheap, you buy it down here. So it might be time to look at getting some long VIX calls, and when it's expensive, you sell it up here. Okay, so I got to run. Like I said, I already sent out the text alert for the weekly options trade. All we have to do is meet at 1 o'clock for about a quick half an hour to review it and see what's going on. If anything, the 1637.5, 1635 is up here at about 72 cents. Let's look at those metrics real quick. 5,300 to potentially make 2,200 with similar probabilities there. But you know what? We'll cover this at 1 o'clock for my members. If you're not a member, it's pretty easy to become a member. Go to the homepage, topgunoptions.com, and if you're a skier, it looks familiar to you because there's a green circle, a black diamond and a blue square to take a 2-week test flight into some of the services we do here at TGO. We teach people how to trade equity options on their own and become their own 500-pound brain. Okay. One last reminder: go to BocaTradersConference.com. In just under a month, on June 30th, we're going to be meeting here down here in God's waiting room, and we're going to have a good time. We have a great lineup of speakers going to meet each other for some TGO new members and old members, and it's just going to be a good time. And we're going to have a VIP reception as well. So have a great rest of your day. I'll see many of you at 1 o'clock. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge, and God bless. We'll see you.